Hello everybody, thanks for joining us on the Country USA webcast on Beef Team TV. The University of Minnesota Extension Beef Team's core mission is to support you in the beef industry through research, innovation, and delivery of some of the most amazing extension programs found anywhere in the world. The Country USA webcast is brought to you by Big Gain. Big Gain Incorporated is a feed company based out of Mankato, Minnesota, and services producers throughout the Midwest. With over 200 employees and 100 dealers, Big Gain services customers in the Midwest not only by selling the product, but by being a partner to the farmer. Check out Big Gain at www.biggain.com. And by Elanco. At Elanco, we advance our vision of food and companionship enriching life by developing innovative solutions that protect and enhance animal health. Since 1954, Elanco has been working to empower veterinarians, food producers, and all those concerned with animal health with the tools needed to help animals live healthy lives. And the Minnesota Beef Council. The Minnesota Beef Council is funded and managed by beef farmers and ranchers through the Beef Checkoff program. The council provides beef promotion, marketing, research, and education programs for beef and beef products. And Minnesota Farm Bureau. The Minnesota Farm Bureau Federation is an advocate for agriculture driven by the beliefs and policies of our members. Farm Bureau's dynamic strength stems from our members at the grassroots level, people sharing ideas, seeing common wisdom, developing solid solutions, all in pursuit of improving the quality of life in a spirit of voluntary cooperation. For more information or to join Minnesota Farm Bureau, visit them on the web at www.fbmn.org. And by Multi-Min USA. Multi-Min 90 is an injectable aqueous supplemental source of zinc, copper, selenium, and manganese. Trace minerals are important for reproduction, immunity, and immune response to vaccines. Multi-Min 90 is not intended as a replacement for trace minerals in the oral feed. It supports an existing well-designed oral feed program that follows NRC requirements and legal selenium limits. Multi-Min 90 is a prescription product, so talk to your veterinarian about Multi-Min 90. And by Neogen. Neogen offers genomic services worldwide that deliver innovative, affordable DNA testing for the discovery and commercial application of genomic advances that enhance the safety and abundance of life. State-of-the-art genomics and bioinformatics, plus our work with leading scientists, drive Neogen's world leadership in DNA testing for food production, animal well-being, and research. Visit Neogen at www.neogen.com. And finally, by Westway Feed Products. Westway Feed Products is a global supplier of agricultural-based liquid solutions. We manufacture and sell liquid feed supplements, feed mill products, feed supplement tubs, dried molasses, and a range of industrial products. We pride ourselves in being able to supply a diverse range of products across the beef, dairy, feed yard, and feed mill industry segments. Special thanks to our guest this week, Brad Zumbach with Elanco Animal Health. Thanks again for joining us. Now, let's go ranching. I don't want to be videoing her and making her nervous. So go ahead and start talking what we're doing here, Brad.
So Maverick's going in. We're doing the left ear, the tag side, keep the other side open. And because of the tag, he's going in the top shelf above the top of the. So he's going all the way in with the needle, and then he pulled out a little bit before he actually started squeezing the dose out, laying it in, and then pinch the incision shut. 2 reasons. Number one, helps line up the implants, and number two, it helps seal up that incision and just help keep more debris from going in. And then, like we talked before, if you end up with one that's bleeding a little bit, it just helps seal that incision shut.
All right, state your name.
Brad Zumbach with Elanco Animal Health.
Turn to the left. No, I'm just kidding. So, what's going on today? Tell us a little bit about what you're doing and anything else you want to talk about.
Well, today we're running this year's calves through. We're actually doing some implant training on the chute side. These calves are getting implanted with component EC and actually working with the staff talking about some proper implant technique. Shoot site as far as keeping the needles clean, implant site, best places to put those implants in, and technique, making sure that we're getting everything out of that implant that we possibly can. So, things that we discussed, you know, and I talk about all the time is the cleanest ear in the pen. We're still going to push in dirt and hair, and so it's important that if we get a crappy ear, something that Mother Nature throws at us, get the ear cleaned as good as we can. But biggest thing is placement. We don't want it too close to the base of the ear, so we're aiming for the middle third of the ear, and ideally would be
a little higher. There you go.
Ideally would be between the ribs, but in this case with the calves today, we're actually going in the tagged ear to keep the other ear open for the feedlot. That's ultimately may end up buying the calves, and so placement of the implant. It's not a race. It's get it in place in the right spot the first time. Finish the incision shot and turn them out and let it do its job.
So like when you have a real muddy ear and even if you brush it off or whatever, you stick the needle in, you're going to get some dirt in there. I mean, do you get a lot of those that get infected?
You can, and that's why it's important. That's why I said the cleanest ear in the yard, you're still pushing in dirt and hair, and so you've still got the opportunity. You're pushing bacteria in there, and so then you have Mother Nature throw in. The sun's shining today, believe it or not, and but you might have rain. You've got any other type of moisture that Mother Nature throws at us. So ideally, scrape the ear off as good as you can. Clean it off. We've got a sponge shoot side that Maverick and Lacey, they're going to clean the ear off, dry it off as much as they can if it's a really nasty one. And the implant. The implants that we're actually using today have a Tylen pellet. It's a low dose antibiotic that's going first in the ear, and so that helps again at the injection site to give a little bit more protection. And as you said, it actually helps fight the possibility of an abscess. It really cuts it down greatly. So.
Yeah. Now, if you want to implant some baby calves, like in the spring, like how early can you do that?
We recommend 45 days.
So once they're 45 days old, you can. Okay.
Yeah, and the reason for that, and there's some that get implanted a lot earlier than that, and I like to say that the best program is the one that we can make work. But the problem with putting an implant too early is no implant is any better than the groceries that critters get, and that holds true from the calf all the way out through the feed yard. And so if we're putting an implant in too early, how much good are we really getting out of it? They're living off mama's milk, don't even have their nose in the grass yet. By the time they really start getting going on the grass, that implant's starting to lose time as well. So it's as much for the return on the investment as it is anything else.
Sure.
So.
And so, what's the name of the what do you call the implant that you put in when they're just a baby calf? What's your product?
Ours is component EC.
Okay. And how long will that last?
About 120. I'd say about 120 days. The book says 140, but let's say 120 days, which in our part of the world is when do we go into grass up here?
June.
In June. So we've got 4 months there as a suckling calf. That's going to get us through the grazing period. We're actually using EC in these calves right now, post weaning. It's going to be in here for 60 plus days before we decide, what we're going to do with them. If we're going to sell them for feeders to help get that gain right now. Another implant that we maybe would choose to use is the component TEG, but we decided not to use that. As not sure if everything's going to go as feeders, or if we may keep something back as replacements as far as the heifers. Both the EC and the TEG are labeled for steers or heifers. So.
All right, so if I put an implant in a calf that's still on the cow, and I don't know, what does an implant cost? $2?
No, these ECs are probably I'm going to say $1.50 to be on the safe side.
So $1.50 for the implant, and then what kind of performance boost? Before weaning, what kind of performance boost do you get from the implant?
Yeah, it's a good question. 18 to 20 pounds running alongside mama.
Okay, so if that's a 500-pound calf, you're going to get, let's just say, $1.50 for that 20 pounds. So you're looking at about $30.
$30 bill minus $1.50.
Minus $1.50. I think I could even do that math.
So, but I think the important thing is with that is that's money in the producer's pocket that we're giving away, and I'm not sure anybody right now that $30 minus $1.50, so call it a $25 bill for easy figuring on 100 calves. We've got $2,500 in our pocket. I don't think anybody can stand to give that away.
So once upon a time, guys really felt that they got discounted at the sale barn if their calves came in at weaning and they had already been implanted with a calf implant.
Right.
Now, who knows what the reality of that really is. Maybe that happened once back in 1976, and so everybody just stopped implanting calves or whatever. But, as you kind of look at it today, what's the attitude of buyers in the sale barn towards calves that come in with the proper implant and it's been done right? What are you seeing there?
Well, I think that's the key thing, is what's done and what's done right. Some of these, it's kind of a touchy subject in some areas. There's a lot of talk about bringing these natural calves into the barn with no implant, and I have no problem with a natural program if somebody can take advantage of the natural market and make it work. But when these calves are coming through the barn as feeders, leaving, going to the feed yard and getting an implant put in them at the feed yard, again, that's $25 a calf that the cow-calf guy is giving away. So if they're not getting a premium, they're throwing $25 on the ground. And I think for the sake of everybody selling the feeders, if they're implanting, taking advantage of that, keeping those dollars in their pocket, but documenting what they were given, when they were given, and maybe something as simple as what we're doing here today is making sure we're putting this implant in the tag side and leaving that other ear wide open like the feedlot. That in itself is worth something to the feedlot, because they don't have to worry about where they're putting that implant. The other plus thing is, if they know what they were implanted with and when, it helps them plan their protocol that they're going to use at the yard.
Okay, so putting in a calf implant, if it's the right implant, it's pretty much played out by the time those calves are weaned and taken to the sale barn. So it's really not going to interfere with whatever the feed yard wants to do with them after they pick them up. Correct. Right? Yeah.
And even what we're doing here, we're going to have 60 to 90 days, depending on when we're going to move these calves. 60 to 90 days on this implant, which is more than good. 60 to 90 days to go in over the top with that next feedlot implant, such as what we've talked about here with the TEIS or TEIH for the heifers in 60 to 90 days is a perfect protocol. So.
Sure. Okay, now let's just say, for example, I implant my calves while they're on the cow, and then I wean those calves, and I decide, you know what, I think I'm going to hang on to these and background these calves for a little while. Should I implant them? What should I implant them with? You know, what's your thoughts on that?
If I've used the component EC as a suckling implant running alongside mama, coming off of grass, you know, we could use the EC again, but I would probably recommend the TEG. And again, we're going to run that. You know, we're going to background for another 90 days, 100 days. And, you know, at that point in time, we're looking at about 30 pounds over that same time frame. So, you know, now we go back and do the math again at that $1.50. You know, so now we had a $25 bill. You know, now we've got, you know, what are we talking, $40, $35 in hand at a minimum. You know, make the numbers do what you want to do. But that, you know, now all of a sudden we've got $65 that we gave back to the cow-calf.
For about a $3 investment.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Probably a little low. If we use the TEG, maybe a little bit more.
Okay.
But again, so call it a $3 bill,
okay,
like you said, Eric, and get $30 on the front side. Post weaning, we're going to pick up another, you know, 40 to 45, depending on the markets, and which is anybody's guess. But that's all extra cash in hand that we're otherwise giving away.
Okay, now we're not going to do the math on this, but this does come up quite a bit. Like if I got this calf and it's still on the cow and I implant it, and I normally creep feed them calves, is that going to help me or hurt me?
Again, an implant's no better than the nutrition, the groceries that are provided. And so we're running off mama, we've got our nose in the grass, and now we end up coming in and we're supplementing with a creep. You know, more power to you. That's another tool in the toolbox. That's more return. It's more return on the investment. We're making better utilization of everything all the way around.
Do you typically see it in that type of scenario that those calves will get a little bit fleshy, or not necessarily?
I would say not necessarily. You know, again, depending on the cattle that we've got, but you know, we're not fattening steers. The implants that we're using are designed for that stage in production, and so the requirements of that calf all the way up from the nutrition side and what we do with the implants are all designed for that stage of production. So I wouldn't expect to see anything at all out of the ordinary as long as we're using what was made for that calf at that time.
Yeah. And then can you think of a scenario or two where really, if putting in an implant, maybe you're not doing yourself any favors? Heifers.
Possibly on the heifers, if depending on what we're doing with replacements. You know, the first implant, no harm, no foul. And I would definitely keep TBA out of any calves that we're planning on keeping some heifers out of. So post weaning, two implants that are possibly to be used would be the EC or a TEG. The TEG does contain TBA, trenbolone acetate, and I would by all means keep that out of there. And but otherwise, that would probably be the only place. And again, if we're choosing the right implant at the right time, I don't see any issue at all.
Okay. Anything else you want to talk about?
You know, I don't think so. I think that there's a lot of tools in the toolbox to use, and I think we have to look at what we're doing as an individual producer, not what somebody in a magazine did, or what the neighbor did last year, because it might have been for a whole separate set of circumstances. And you know, if we can take advantage of some of the tools that are out here and still get a quality calf to the guy that's going to put them eventually through the feed yard, it's a win-win situation for everybody.
All right. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Be a big high-end production deal. So how do you, how do you handle some implanting strategies or not implanting in like a seed stock scenario?
The question there again, you know, on replacement heifers, you know, with the first implant, you know, we've talked before, no harm, no foul, but you know, in a seed stock operation, I'm probably not going to implant. We're gonna stay completely away from that, and then obviously with bulls, as we're you know, we're going through a set of calves trying to pick out you know, the bulls that we've got and what we may be doing with them. We're certainly not gonna put an implant in the bull. So at the time of weaning, when we start doing our sort, then we can start making those decisions.
So what would be like, because this is kind of even something that I run into is, okay, well, you know, I'm probably going to take the first sort on bulls, you know, about now, here in the fall, and I'm going to go ahead and cut those ones that just aren't going to make it right away. Now, is there an implant strategy that I should do with that? How does that work on, you know, once I decide that they're not going to make the cut for seed stock, what should I be doing with those males?
I guess I would look at them, you know, again, maybe not knowing what we're going to do with them. You know, there's a couple different choices on an implant that you could use. I would look at that TEG type of an implant. You know, we've got another good solid 120 days there, and we can make our decision. If we're going to feed them out ourselves, it gives us an opportunity to work through some of the feeders. Again, we're taking advantage of that weight gain before we're selling, and still allowing ample room in the next step up in the protocol for well.
Now, usually when, you know, in that type of scenario where we're cutting them calves awful late, you know, it really takes them a little bit of time to rebound. And I forget what Tim said the other night, but you know, it was at least 30 days before those calves are really going again when they're cut at that, you know, at that 500-pound range. So at what point in that process after I cut them would you recommend putting the implant in? Should I wait 30 or 45 days before putting it? Because, you know, I'm probably going to keep them another 60, 75 days anyway at the minimum.
You know, again, I use the term, how many times I heard my dad say it, the best program is the one that we can make work. If we've got the facilities and we've got the means to do it, yeah, we could send them through, we could cut them, send them through and let them settle in and then bring them back in. At the same time, we're talking about an implant that's got a good 20 days on it. And so by the time those calves, settle down, whether it's, depending on the calf, it might be a couple days and it might be 30 for one. Chances are that one that's taking 30, we're probably going to be doing something with that particular animal anyway. Overall, if we could wait and make sure that they're settled in, that would maybe be the best route to go. But you know, even like our own situation, going through that the first time, probably, and that is exactly when we did that, because there wasn't going to be an opportunity to come back through. So, you know, I think ideally we can take advantage of it. Yeah, let it settle in, which is good. You know, if it's a 30-day time frame that's recommended to do it, I have no problem with that, and it sets us up. It sets us up to get the most out of it, guaranteed. But I think at the same time, you know, we'll have benefit, we'll have return on that in between the time too, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool.